My good friend and yours, Carly Rae Jepsen, is in studio.
So lovely to see you again.
It is nice. I saw you last night at the Socan Awards.
I was so excited to hear that we got to meet in person. So.
I was so excited, yeah, because I was guest hosting the show when you came in. I was the guest host of the show the first time we talked.
Well, I have to say, the first time that we talked, I was so impressed that for the first time in forever, I was asked original questions. It was so refreshing. So thank you for that.
It's not going to happen this time. It's all going to be, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite kind of balloon?
It changes.
Yeah, it's all.
I think people should ask, what's your favorite color lately?
Oh, what's your favorite color lately?
Oh, well, geez, I'm on the spot. I'm really into purple.
Orange. Always orange.
Always
though.
orange.
Always orange.
Okay.
I've liked orange since I was a kid.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know why. I know I got a friend of mine, favorite color? Rainbow.
Ah, that's cheating.
Color.
That's cheating.
That doesn't feel like. Congrats. So I want to point out that we saw each other at the Socan Awards, which recognizes Canada's top songwriters and composers. They recognized your massive #1 hit, Call Me Maybe, as the most performed song in Socan history, which means it was the most performed song on radio and television and licensing and all that stuff, written by a Canadian with the money going to Socan. How does that feel?
It's kind of nuts. I mean, I don't think I even really processed what that meant until last night when I was there. My publisher was like kind of explaining what a big deal it was, and it's insane. I think Josh Ramsey, Tavish Crow, and I had no idea when making that song that it would have such an impact, and it was really cool because my parents came down. We kind of got to celebrate it as a team. Is
it more meaningful to you to have a songwriting award here? Because I feel like it was nice for me to see you celebrated as the songwriter that you are.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I would say also like. That award show was charming in so many ways that just make me love Canada. I think getting to see so many great performers. I'm sad that you missed the Bare Naked Ladies at the end. That was
did they play
so
at the
insane.
end?
Yeah.
Thanks for ratting me out for going
sorry,
home early.
Sorry. I
think what you mean is
that.
it was so nice to watch Bare Naked Ladies with you, Tom, as you stayed for the entire event.
We danced it out, didn't we?
I couldn't believe it. But really, I mean, like I see you got a lot of acclaim as a pop performer, as a pop singer. But man, you are an incredible songwriter, and like I said, it's nice to see that recognized.
Thank you so much. That's so sweet.
Do you consider yourself a songwriter first?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, when I was younger, obviously, I was addicted to just singing. But as soon as I got hooked on the idea of being able to like emote through writing, I think that sort of changed focus and passions for me as my #1 thing.
How did that start? Like, what were you writing about at first? Do you remember the first one?
Yeah, I do. I wrote a protest song.
I have a guitar. Do you want to play it?
It's called "They're Cutting Down the Big Trees."
Do you remember it?
It's so bad.
Can you play it on the guitar?
Things developed. I mean, no.
Do you want to?
No, I don't. The words were, I was 7. They're cutting down the big trees. I heard it just today. It won't be much longer now, and I wonder why. It has to be this way. Very bad. Very bad.
Sounds pretty good to me.
Oh, that's sweet. No, it was...
a little choked up.
Oh, and then the real time that I actually kind of was taking it a bit more seriously was a silly reason. I had a crush on a boy. And I was in high school, and I wrote him a letter, and it said, "Dear you." And then it had a bit of a melody to me, so I ended up asking my dad for his guitar, and that's sort of when things took off.
No way.
Yeah. He showed me some of the chords, and it was simple Elvis Presley kind of chords, and I was like, okay, this is so fun. And then I just was, writing a lot, showing my parents, and they were saying, I like that one, or, oh, why don't you try this? And then I just kind of got more and more into it. And then I got lucky enough to start collaborating with some more professional writers than me at the time, and I learned a lot from them. So, yeah.
Were you thinking that you were just going to be one of these people that, not just, by the way, but you were going to be one of these people that just write songs for others, writes hits?
No, I'm too much of a show kid.
Is that so?
Yeah. I mean, there was a weird moment also with my father when I was little. He used to like accompany me and we'd sing at these like talent shows and things like that. And I can remember getting on stage, and speaking of nerves, as we were earlier, I wasn't nervous. I felt very confident and very at home. And I remember looking at him and he was just shaking. And I think in the microphone, I was like, "Dad, come into the spotlight. You're okay. Let's do it." And it was just such a rush. It was so fun to feel, I don't know, like you had this like room to be powerful and playful and kind of create an energy in the room. And I'm addicted to that as well.
What were you guys playing?
We sang Eternal. Well, I sang Eternal Flame
Close
by
your
the
eyes,
Bangles.
Give me your hand, darling.
Yeah.
Good song.
Yes. An eternal flame. I think I thought that was just one word at the time. I didn't really know what it meant.
Is this burning an eternal flame?
Yeah, exactly. Say my name.
Great song. My
Yeah.
sister sang it at a karaoke
No way.
thing in PEI when she was a kid, and we still have the tape. We play it around the house.
Hey, that's so cute.
She won a Juno for Children's Album of the Year.
That's incredible.
And I like to think that I have her first recording,
You do, I think.
Eternal Flame.
That's amazing.
So was this the dream then? This pop stardom that you have now? Like, what was your dream career then?
I mean, I didn't really have a definition of pop versus just I wanted to be a singer and I
Right.
wanted to write songs. And I think it's, I don't know, been a gift that like pop has kind of allowed me to explore all genres of music that I love. And it's such a widespread word now. It's not like just this idea of like, has to be one thing. And even with this album, I think I've explored that even more of just like, what kind of music do I want to make? So yeah, I feel like this was the dream. I'm very lucky. It doesn't pass me by.
When you were in the bathroom with the hairbrush in front of you, were you doing that?
Oh, was I doing that? No, I mean it wasn't like that Britney Spears movie with like the underwear and the no. It was much more. It was much more like jam sessions. My family is very passionate about music, so it was very common for us to like pull out the guitar and like go through a songbook, James Taylor, and just like sing them one by one. And I think that really inspired. And also, our family parties would always end with like a Van Morrison living room dance, and everyone pointing and singing, "Can I just have one?" And so I felt like there was such a joy to music in general that I took it very seriously. But I also had a great time making it.
I can tell. So we're going to talk about your new record. I do want to talk about the song that you got recognized, the song that most people recognize you for, the song that you performed with Josh Ramsey last night. Take a listen to this.
You cookie showing and me hunger growing. Let's get skim milk flowing. We'll start this snack going, baby. Hey, me just met you.
That is so weird.
It's crazy.
You sound
but
really
you got
different now.
cookie. So share it, maybe.
This is like my favorite cover of the song. Hands down. Hands down.
That is Tom Waits. No, that is...
It kind of sounds like
Kind of does,
yeah,
doesn't it?
In a way.
That is Cookie Monster's
Yeah, man.
version of Carly Rae Jepsen's Call Me Maybe. It must be last night at the Socan Awards. If you weren't there, which I think was like 20 people there, so I'll tell you what was happening. At one point, they played a bunch of covers of Call Me Maybe, of people singing the song on YouTube. That must be meaningful to you.
Yeah, it's nuts. I mean, that's the part where you can't really control when a song kind of gets a life of its own like that. And we were struck by lightning, and it was so cool to see just like how many people re-sung the song. And I can remember being in an airport once and actually standing next to a little girl who kind of recognized me but didn't really feel brave enough, I guess, to say hi. And I was smiling, and she just quietly sang the entirety of the song to me. And I was like, this is so cute. It was just one of those moments where I was like, wow, this is taken off in a way I never imagined.
You keep on saying that. You keep on saying, I feel like I was struck by lightning. Like, it's also an amazing song.
Oh,
like,
thank you.
But do you see it as something just entirely fortuitous, something that happened to you, or do you see it as something that we created, something that people really loved?
I mean, we're in a room last night. It's interesting, and I'm just surrounded by talent. Like, so many incredible songwriters, and Buffy St. Marie. I mean, there's just like, it blew my mind. And I think there is a reality that I check into that's very true of like, we work very hard at making songs, but so do so many people. And when a song takes off like that, you can't really take credit for it. You just got to realize that the stars aligned and you were a lucky duck.
So really, that's how it goes. Hey, you have to understand that this was mainly luck, or this was because
Prepared luck. I mean, I don't say that we don't that I don't work very hard at what I do,
I'm sure
that
you
but I also can see that. I mean, in terms of picking a hit, I never know what's what. I always like go for the weirdest song, and everyone's like, "That's such a strange decision." But yeah, if I did know the secret to it, it would be different. So I have to think it's luck.
I was going to ask you about that, like whether you when you say like I have no skill to pick out what it's going to be, I was wondering if you figured out how to write a hit, or
I just have strange days. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I think sometimes a song kind of just happens to you, and you're there for it. And so, kind of defining what it is afterwards with some perspective, I can be like, this one is the one that's going to make the album because it feels really magic with time. But in terms of like what works for radio, I can't pretend to know.
Oh, wow. Because Bob Dylan said that too. Bob Dylan was asked, when he was in his 60s at this point, and he was on 16 Minutes, which is fortuitous. And they said, how do you feel about It's All Right, Mom, Only Bleeding, which is my favorite, or Mr. Tambourine Man, or these songs? And he goes, I can never write them ever again. They said, why not? He said, because literally I was just a vessel. I sat down at my typewriter and I started typing, and then by the time I was done, the song was over, and that was just it.
Elizabeth Gilbert, I think, one of my favorite writers, does like a really cool thing about how creativity is this like elusive genius that kind of like comes and visits you, almost like it's not to do with you. And I think watching that, I really connected to that theory. I think there's some truth to it.
Yeah, because some songwriters, they spend like 20 minutes a day writing songs every single day. And then I know other songwriters who just spend a week in a cabin hoping that the inspiration hits them.
Yeah, I probably put myself somewhere in the middle. I'm always kind of ready for an idea to be there, and it can happen in kind of strange moments when you're like doing something completely not to do with writing a song, and then like a thought and a melody comes to you, and that's the most exciting feeling. But I do show up a lot too for sessions with like new strangers or collaborators, or even with my longtime friend Tavish Crow, and we just like sit down, and it always, I feel very lucky that I never have a hard time writing songs.
I'm going to put you on the spot. Can you think of a song you wrote, a specific song you wrote that came to you in a kind of a strange moment?
Yeah, I guess I'm thinking right now. It's usually not like an entire song, but more like a line or two, yeah, or like a chorusy hook or something like that. I'm trying to think from this album. I think I've been working with this idea for a lot of a reoccurring thought of a song called Julian. And it always felt very much like that. This one word had a melody to the way it was meant to be sung, and I've been reworking it for a while. So I'm very happy to open the album with that one, actually.
With Julian. Mm-hmm. Right. But let's talk about the new record. Let's play a song that's not off the new record, but it's tangentially related to the new record.
Party for one, if you don't care about me, I'll just dance for myself, back on my beat. I'll be the one, if you don't care about me, making love to myself, back on my beat. You don't want my love, if you don't care about me, I just dance for myself, back on my beat. Party for one, if you don't care about me, making love to myself, back on my beat.
That's a little bit of Party for One by Rae Jepsen, my guest today. It's a great song, by the way.
Thank you.
We talked about this a little bit at the beginning. The last time we spoke, we talked about you writing 200 songs per record and whittling them down. We can chuckle all we want, but it's true, right?
It is, yes. It's actually like a sad farewell when you kind of pick the album. It's a happy and it's a sad thing because you're excited to start to share what you've done, but then it's sort of like waving goodbye to all these, like all this energy that you put out into these other directions too.
So did your whittling down lead you to any kind of like idea of what this new record's going to be about?
Kind of the theory of what it is to be dedicated to someone, to choose the right one, and the thick and thin of it all. I think I've been kind of, thinking about that in my real life and my real relationships, and I am very obsessed with the subject of love, and I can't seem to stop writing about it from all different angles.
But not just love, but dedication.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that interests you about dedication?
I don't know. Maybe it's that I'm very picky about who I fall in love with and who I can imagine linking my life to. And this idea that that's something that you do is hard for me to get my head wrapped around unless you really find the right one.
What do you mean?
The idea of marriage, of linking yourself to one person has been hard for me to do. How about you? Putting me on the spot.
No, listen, I'm not doing any favorite balloon TMZ questions here. I'm not doing any of my, and we all know who it is. I don't know who it is. I'm joking
no,
around.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
I don't even know who it is.
That's pretty. I don't really know where to go from there. But
it's some truth. There you go.
So is this idea of dedication something you find yourself subliminally writing about?
What do you mean by that?
Or was it something you were intentionally trying to explore?
No, actually, there was a song that didn't make the album called Dedicated, but it felt so fitting still in theory. So that's sort of where I got the title. And then the word itself had some music to it, some rhythm, dedicated. I like the way it sounds. That's a strange reason to pick a title, but there you have it. Yeah, and the song, it was a new relationship that I was kind of excited about, and yet it had its challenges right from the get-go, and I found myself sort of sticking with it because there was something stronger pulling me to say yes rather than no.
It's also just almost impossible to have a relationship when you're touring an awful lot and when you're, you know?
Yeah, I mean that's the next round of things, so we'll see. But I think that's something that's always been my kind of my real purpose has been sort of feeling like fulfilled when I'm on the road and out there doing that. So I need to find someone who understands that side.
You know, fulfillment-wise, do you feel any less pressure on your music to be as absolute gangbusters number one successful as it possibly can be when you've already had a single that pretty much broke every single record in the books?
I don't know. I think it would be bad energy to go into any sort of writing situation and be like, I have to be gangbusters number one success versus like, I have to do something that feels heartful and real and whatever happens, happens kind of thing. But I'm definitely looking for like all of the elements, all the flavors that make a good album of what has the high energy, what is the slow jam, what kind of you want to listen to when you're in the party mood and also when you're just wanting to kind of be introspective and kind of have a real listen.
I love the idea that you still think about records. I mean, so many young musicians come in here. I mean,
I'm old-fashioned that way, yeah.
But we kind of are, aren't we?
Yeah, I guess so. It's a beautiful thing, the album to me, what that whole like means from beginning to end. I wrestle a lot with the order, and I know that in this day and age, you're just going to shuffle through. But every song, number 3 is there for a reason. Number 7 was always going to be number 7.
Are you? I can tell you care so much about your albums and care so much about your music, and I really can. Does that mean you can also not read the press or the tweets or the Reddit threads about your music?
Yeah, I mean, it would be impossible to say that you can completely always like shun that stuff out, but there has to be a moment with every album, I think, or with every project that any creator makes where you make peace with it on your own first, one way or the other. And then whatever happens, happens. My mom does a cute thing, actually, where she'll send me all the press and I have to tell her not to. But it's a good filtering system, though, because she'll usually only send the good things. So, yeah.
I had a friend of mine, when I got this job, there was a lot of press around me getting this job. And I had a friend of mine, Ed, and every night I'd go over to his house and sit on his front porch and he'd go, okay, because I wouldn't read any of it because I was
good.
Because it would
Good
give
for
me like, it
you.
would give me a lot of anxiety, to be honest.
Yeah, the weebie-jeebies.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like giving it would give me like, I don't know if you're like a panic attack kind of person, but it would give me panic attacks to read that kind of stuff.
Doesn't sound good. No, yeah. It's weird to have people have a perception of you that like maybe doesn't match your own. It's a strange feeling.
Yeah, I kind of want to talk to you about that first, but let me listen to some new music.
Oh.
Don't give it up. Don't say it hurts. 'Cause there's nothing like this feeling, baby. Now that I've found you, I want it all. No, there's nothing like this feeling, baby. Now that I've found you.
What a lovely top line in that chorus, hey? What a lovely melody.
Thank you.
That's Rae Jepsen with the song Now That I Found You, a song that was also used to help promote the new season of Queer Eye on Netflix. And, you know, it just feels like the latest example of your music being so kind of warmly embraced, in particular by the LGBTQ community. You know, was there a moment where you kind of realized, like, hey, there's a community that seems to be rallying around my music?
Yeah, I think, I mean, we were very fortunate, but I was invited to play a couple of Pride festivals, and I just tell you, there's nothing more fun than that. It's just the most fun. And then I think after that, we were seeing just like through Instagram and comments and stuff, just like a swell of just positivity and like lovely comments. And so to be embraced by such like a lovely community, I couldn't be happier.
Does it give you any sense of like a responsibility or
Yeah, I think we all have a responsibility to fight the good fight and to make sure we're doing it with love. And every day with every performance, we're thinking of new ways to do that.
It brings up an interesting point because you notice when we were talking a little bit about dedication and about love, and even now that I found you, like I personally am not incredibly interested in who you're dating or whether you're dating anybody or anything like that, because it's not really my business, and I don't think it's the show's business, and I'm sure you get enough of that from People Magazine and stuff like that. However, I understand that to be a performer these days, especially a performer within, I know pop music means so much, but in like you're very famous, and you're very famous in a very interesting way. How do you do at being Rae Jepsen, the pop performer, the kind of pop star, and then Carly Rae Jepsen, or Carly, the human that you are when you close the hotel door?
I don't really think I separate them as two different things. I know some performers do. They've got like this stage idea. I feel like I'm just myself, and I'm myself performing, and I'm myself at home. And obviously, you get to be like a little bit more theatrical and over the top when you're on stage, but that's a very sincere part of my personality. And I don't know. I don't know if that's the right answer, but that's the true one.
I think the right answer is the one that you give me. But what about social media wise? Like, how do you find?
I mean, that's different, but I think that's different for everyone. On Instagram, it's always, this world where you're kind of trying to, you're given an opportunity to get to like do things like announce an album and promote when you get to go on tour and all those fun things. So it's a good resource for kind of getting to like brand a project. But at the same time, I don't not just put like when I'm home for Christmas and other things and use it the way that every person does, where you're just kind of like showing off the fun highlights of your life.
Why not?
Pardon me?
Why not? What, like?
Oh,
What,
I do.
But you don't. I mean, I follow you on social media. You're pretty open. But like I feel like I always feel like you know exactly what you're posting up when you're posting it. Like,
yeah, I think that there's a privacy beyond like that I would just have anyways for not wanting everyone to know. Maybe like you see some people that just like are like in the middle of nothing and they're sharing a really boring task, and I don't see the purpose of that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that was what led me to my first question, which whether there is this like other side. Because definitely for me, there are definitely like even on my Instagram, there are parts of my life that I don't want to have up there. There's parts of my life that I want to make sure are still for me, and I'm a D-level Canadian public radio host.
I don't think that's a good
But
explanation.
I think you know what I mean.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess I do. I think I don't struggle with it too much. I think because I have a really great group of people around me, I feel like I don't have to have like an authentic self and a non-authentic self that I have to like put a shield on or wear some makeup. I think that it's kind of maybe why I do shy away from big sort of celebrity styles of life, because I think you could get lost in that, and I try very hard not to.
Like you could get lost in that. You could lose that.
Yeah, like I remember when I first moved to LA, there was getting hit coming out of this sushi restaurant, and then people were saying, if you go there, there's always paparazzis. Like it was a good thing for me to maybe want to go there, and it was around that time I made a decision of like I'm never going to that spot again. Like it's just not the part that that appeals to me of like what it is to be a musician is much more about the music than it is about the fame, I think.
That's what I'm getting. I mean, that's what I've gotten from a couple of our conversations, but like that's definitely what I'm getting for this one, is that what really is. I'm not to say that fame and celebrity is something you don't like or you wish you didn't have.
There's fun parts.
For sure.
And then there's crazy parts.
But it's simply I think we're not going to say any names, but we maybe both know people who music is an avenue to get the fame that they so desperately want.
Yeah.
And then with you, it seems to be that you just want to make music.
Well, yes. I mean, I think that there's fun parts of it too, though. It's wild to come home to Canada and have someone be like, "I like that song," and it's a strange, wonderful feeling. But it's also, the parts of it where you feel like it's a little too intrusive, and you're kind of like being called out when in a place where you might not be ready or feeling like you want to like have a conversation or be recognized. I don't think that anyone, even in their idea of what they think fame is, on a good day, really likes that.
Is there someone who has a dream career, like when you are thinking about the way things are going to go for you? Is there someone you look up to as if I can have that kind of career, everything's going to be okay?
I think a lot about that because it's a hard industry, and you don't see a lot of pop stars kind of land well. It's always like a crash and burn.
What do you mean?
You kind of see. I mean, there are those who do. You either there's like a disappearing act, or especially like it's such a youthful job to be a part of, and then you see people do it really well. But it is sometimes like a little bit of a rocky landing to age in pop music and to still want to keep doing it. It's there's lots of people that get lost to the drugs and alcohol and the rock and roll of it, or even the lack of fame can be hard for some. I think it's really important to have a good plan for how you land. And for me, I think I look at Cyndi Lauper as a really good example of someone who's doing it really classy and really well and still having fun. I actually get to go to New York to be a part of one of her events, and I get to sing Girls Just Want to Have Fun, and I'm so excited.
Have you gotten to speak to her about any of this stuff?
No, I mean, we've had like passing moments on carpets together, but we haven't had like a dinner heart to heart. Maybe one day that would be lovely.
I think about that. I spoke to Corey Hart a little while ago, when Sunglasses at Night came out, in the 80s, there was no bigger hit in the entire world, And I remember...
Sing me the hook of that one.
I wear my sunglasses at night.
Oh, God, to write that, hey?
So I can...
It's so simple, but so satisfying.
3 notes.
I know.
And it was huge.
I know. Rightfully so.
But he said that he wishes he could get a chance to talk to Shawn Mendes.
Oh, interesting.
He said just because, he said, man, like I've been there. Like I know what it's like to drive past the Eiffel Tower and not be able to get out of your car and go look at it. I know what it's like to feel like the whole world's kind of closing in on you. Sometimes I would love. So I often wonder if people like yourself and people who have this fame, Kurt Cobain.
We went to the Eiffel Tower. We get out of the car. We do late night trips, even with heavy press days.
Good for you. But Kurt Cobain, so keep your eyes out, everybody. Keep your eyes out. She's at the Eaton Center at 2 a.m. All the stores are closed, but she's
truthfully,
there.
That is actually one of the reasons why I'm so lucky with the band and members that I have and the crew that I have. I mean, they are the type to get up at 6 a.m. and to go see the Great Wall of China while we're in China for 2 days, even if it means we've got like things to do later on. I think it's people say, isn't touring hard? And I'm like, it's a wild adventure. It's fun. And I think we tour in a very different way.
Do you think pop music means something different now than it did when Britney and the Backstreet Boys were releasing their music back then?
It does to me. It does to me. I think I had a very narrow idea of what it was. You had to look a certain way and wear certain things and be able to dance to certain things. And I cannot dance to save my life. So thank God that it's evolved in my own mind that that's okay. And it's fine to just like be a little bit more rock and roll up there and just have fun and do whatever your body naturally wants to do. And it can still be a good time.
I feel like a lot of people are taking it seriously in a different way too. Like I'm on this subreddit called Popheads on Reddit, and they love you, man.
Oh,
like
that's
you
so
are,
nice.
you are their one true God. But it is, it is almost like a deep academic discussion of all things pop. And I think that like people like you and Troye Sivan and Justin Bieber have really changed how we think about pop music. That it can be a really kind of sophisticated genre of music. Does that cross your mind?
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people think of pop as like a guilty pleasure, but my question is like, if it brings you pleasure, why feel bad? I think also pop, I think it was always sort of classified maybe as something really easy to write, but I think that the opposite is true. I think when you can be indulgent and go off in like this like artistic way, that's lovely, but to actually be focused on what it is to have a top line, it's like an old standard jazz song. You have to be careful and select about every word that you're using. You don't have a lot of time to do it. So I think it's actually kind of become a little bit more well-known that is a challenge, and because of that, I think it gets a bit more weight. So I'm very happy that that's the way people are seeing it.
I'm not asking for your favorite, but I'm going to ask, like, what's an example of like a perfect pop song to you?
Nothing Compares to You by Prince, sung by Sinead O'Connor. I like her version of it. I think it's a pop ballad, but it just like from the beginning, you're hooked. And those melodies in the chorus, it's just... Anytime that your arms need to open up like this and you want wind in your hair on the top of the mountain, that's a good sign.
I love All That She Wants by Ace of Base.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know
Ace of
that
Base,
song?
all of their songs are incredible.
I love it because the intro is in minor key. Da, 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 and then the verse is...
Yeah.
It goes to a major key for
Yep,
the...
yeah,
Da, 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 da.
Yeah. I mean... all of Ace of Base. I feel like Ace of Base is my main karaoke go-to.
You ever get to meet Max Martin?
Oh, yeah.
The guy who... you worked with him, right?
Yeah, we did. Yeah. He's so nice. No one that talented should be that nice at the same time. What a strange combination. I'm not used to it.
What does he know that we don't know? Do you think he's figured something out?
I don't know. I think it's something in the water in Sweden over there because so many of the most talented pop writers that I've met have come from Stockholm and Sweden. So, yeah.
They say it's because of their relationship with the English language, hey?
I think there's some poetry to even the brokenness of it sometimes. I was writing with this girl named Noonie Bao, and she flipped the words around, not on purpose, but it was beautiful. And I think, but I think also it's a little bit to do with like the government and the schooling and sort of the attention that is given to music. And I think from an early age, people kind of are thinking outside the box too for what their lives can be, and it's very cool.
I have gone 15 minutes over where my producer wanted me to go with this interview.
Sorry.
Because
we blabbed and blabbed and
I don't know.
blabbed.
I'm just having a good time. Like, none of these last few questions were anything we planned. I just wanted to talk to you about pop music.
Nice.
It's been really fun for me.
You're so lovely.
I'll close the way I was planning on closing, though, which is we started talking a little bit about, you know, your dream. And sure, you didn't hold up the microphone like Britney Spears, but you know, you knew you wanted to be a performer. You knew you didn't want to just be a singer, a songwriter. We've established that. But you know, Carly, you've already had a pretty amazing career. I mean, you've had a single that will live on. I mean, I hate to say it, but like will live on far beyond you. Will be sung hundreds of years after.
That's the point. That's the good news.
I mean, I guess so. Hey,
you want to leave things before you go.
I just guess that.
I don't know why I got all New York when I said that.
I just guess it's like taxi wisdom. I never want to phrase someone's death as a good thing. I never want to say, well, here's the good thing. You're going to die someday.
Am I?
No, you're not. I'm Carly Rae Jepsen. I'm going to live forever.
Found out.
But now at this stage in your career, this new album is coming out. Your last album was such a critical success, and I think it brought a bunch of new fans to you that maybe weren't there before. You have this new album coming out. What is your dream now going forward?
I have a few of them. I think it's been interesting to kind of get this project done. I think I'm never going to want to stop making music, but that doesn't mean that won't shift. I think even sitting next to my dad last night watching some of like these songs come out when we went to the jazz round, I'm like, it would be so cool one day to do a jazz album. Like maybe when I'm 45. He's like, don't wait that long. I was like, you're right, let's do it. So I think I have music goals, work goals, and then I have like personal ones too. I would love to like figure out how to decorate my house. I feel like I live in an empty spot for 3 years because I'm so frozen with what to do. Little things like having normalcy in my life too, even with all the chaos. I think that's a balance I've been working on for the last 3 years, and I'd like to continue getting better at that too. So those sound small maybe, but those are what I'm gonna go for next.
I sometimes feel in my house that doesn't matter how many like nice things I buy, it still feels like a child buying nice things.
Mine just looks like a museum of apartments past where I brought like a lot of different ideas together and they don't really work, but I'm too scared to do anything. Yeah.
I still have like a lot of framed photos on the floor not hung up
Oh,
yet.
that's awesome. That's awesome.
We can team up.
Yeah. We just need some help.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
It's so nice to see you again.
So nice to see you too.